Today we would be talking about the art of narration. Narration is a very important aspect in writing a novel or a story, usually works which are related to fiction, because they require a lot of retelling. They require a method which is adopted to tell a story or to describe an experience. So narration is used as a technique, is used as an art in most of the works which are related to fiction, works which are more appropriately speaking, works which are related to novel or story writing. But we cannot say that narration is not employed anywhere other than fiction. It is there in other prose works as well, like essays or like small prose writings or report writings. It is there, but it is usually or at large employed in fictions, works of fictions, and it is explored more in works of fiction. And we see that narration is adopts various ways. It could be linear, it could be cyclical. Linear is when you adopt, when you have a point of time and you move in a straight direction from one point to the other, and these points are usually in chronological orders. And cyclical is when you start anywhere in a cycle, and with any point in a cycle, and then you come back to the same point. All these types are narrations used individually, or they are mixed in works of literature, and they are adopted to achieve the development of plot, or the development of story from beginning till the end. And this is like a storytelling. And you can start the story from any point where you want it. You can go to the past, then you can move to the present, and then you can take a somersault in the past, and then you can come back to the present. And these are the techniques of narrations, which are also called stream of consciousness techniques, or the techniques when you take somersaults in the past and then you come back. These are called cyclical techniques also. But they all have one object, and that object is to tell you a story, and tell you the story from the point of view of the narrator, and to give a logical end or conclusion to that story. So we can say that even people who write memoirs, they also adopt this type of technique. And then this technique is also adopted in films, plays, television shows, video games. All these have adopted the techniques of narration. Then it is narration is a point of view, it is a perspective, it's a voice, and that voice is informing you various things about that piece of literature. Then narration is not always a location or time specific. It may choose any point of time and any location to start with, and to carry on with it. Then there are uh, various theories which are related to narration, and these are like Russian semiotics. Boris Upsansky's identifies five planes on which narration rests. These are spatial, temporal, psychological, phraseological, and ideological. And then we have another critic who's American, who's Susan Snyder, and she also talks of various theories, and she says that a spatial point of view is the stance in terms of space from which the narrator tells the story. Then she observes that records and events and happenings can be covered through various ways. They could be covered through the point of view of any particular um, place. They could be covered through time, from the point of view of time. They could be covered through the psychology of the narrator, who is moving from past to present, or who is moving from present to past. Or they could be covered through various phrases, epithets, which are repeated now and then, and which carry an image of their own. And then they could be carried through ideological point of views, through which a person is writing. That ideological point of view could be social, could be cultural, could be any political. And then we have another types of writing, which is Virginia Woolf was using. And these types of writings, they are basically called stream of consciousness, uh, stream the adoption of the technique of stream of consciousness. And they also express an ideological point of view, or they do not do away with the structure altogether. Then we have another point to be discussed when we talk of narration. And that is that a narration could be in the first person. It could be it could be only one person who is the protagonist, or who is the narrator, or who is the author, or who is the chief character, and who is telling you the story. Then it could be done through second person. And it could be in form of an address, when somebody is addressing someone, and talking to the person who is addressed to. So then there is a third person narration, which is a traditional narration. And traditionally, third person narration is the most commonly used narrative mode in literature. It does not require that narrator's existence be explained or developed as a particular character, as would be the case with the first person narrator. In It thus allows a story to be told without detailing any information about the narrator of the story. Third person narrator is often simply some disembodied commentary rather than a fully developed character. So third person narrator is usually used when one has to be quite objective, or one has to convey informations about multiple characters, places, and events, not an individual story, or not a subjective story, or not one story, many stories. But narrator is omniscient, he's everywhere. And he's like he could see everything. And this narrative point has been the most commonly used narrative in writings. And various novels of Charles Dickens, Leo Tolstoy, George Eliot, they employ this form of narration. And they would tell you the story. Even Ravindranath Tagore has been employing this type of narration. Then there is subjective or objective narration. Subjective or narration, as the title suggests, is individualistic observation. Then objective narration is when you make a point, or when you want to convey a point the way it is, then it is called objective narration. Then we can say that narration can be form of confession. It could be in the form of symbols. It can use these tools of punctuation, slandering, ridiculing, parodying, intertextuality, pun, satire, black irony. So all these forms, all these tools can help in narration. Thank you.